Joining me now is Elie Mystal, justice correspondent and columnist for The Nation. He's an Alfred Nobler Fellow at the Type Media Center and author of multiple books, including Bad Law, 10 Popular Laws That Are Ruining America. Elie, good morning to you. Thank you for being with us. I'm trying not to overstate this. I'm trying not to have viewers look at me and say, dude, why is your hair on fire? This is crazy. It's really not. This is a pernicious, across-the-board attack on democracy.
And an attack on black people specifically. A lot of times when I've seen this story framed over the last few weeks, it has been framed as a Democrat versus Republican issue, as a battle for the soul of the House of Representatives. It is not. It is an attack by white people against the very concept of black representation. This is Jim Crow 2.0. And I don't mean that in a kind of hyperbolic way. Yeah. I mean that on a ground level, like what are they actually trying to do?
So let me interrupt you there, because I think this is really important. Jim Crow was not one thing, right? Slavery was not one thing. It was a series. It was hundreds of little things that curtailed people's freedoms, and that's what's happening. That from 1965 onwards, we've fixed a lot of little things, and this administration's taking one thing down at a time.
If you lived in the Jim Crow South as a black person, you could vote as long as you could guess the number of jelly beans. You could vote as long as you can figure out what day, what time. If it like the way that people are disenfranchised is not saying, darky, you can't vote here. It's all of these little procedural issues that frustrate and suppress the ability of black people to vote, or the ability of those votes to matter. And that's what the Supreme Court has approved. That's what the white supremacist decision in Louisiana versus Calais approved, this reconstruction of the Jim Crow South, right? And so when we talk about this issue, when we talk about what Americans, what Democrats need to do, it's not just what Democrats need to do, it's what Americans need to do, right? Whether or not Americans want to live in this reconstituted apartheid state. And unfortunately, what I see is most Americans willing to go along with it. When you look at how they are redistricting the maps in Louisiana or Tennessee, please note, they are not messing with white Democratic enclaves in those states. There are white Democrats in Tennessee. There are white Democrats in Louisiana. I happen to be friends with one of them, right? Her neighborhood, their neighborhoods, they're being left alone. The neighborhoods that are being taken away are the black neighborhoods, the ones in Memphis, like you showed in your opening. It's the black neighborhoods that are being split up and cracked. And so what they're trying to do is eliminate the Congressional Black Caucus. The Congressional Black Caucus has 67 members. Most of them represent the South, and those seats are the ones being targeted, being taken away. What do we do about it? I don't know, Allie. The last time we had a decision like this, the historical precedent for Louisiana versus Calais in 2026 is Plessy v. Ferguson in 1896. That is in terms of the racism that the Supreme Court has ushered in, that's your case, right? And when you look at Plessy v. Ferguson in 1896, what did it take to overcome that? And it took decades, generations of black people lived and died under Plessy v. Ferguson before 1954, when it was overturned-ish by Brown v. Board of Ed, and 1964 and 1965, when it was overturned legislatively by the Civil Rights Act and the now defunct Voting Rights Act of 1955. So that's the timeline we're looking at. When white people get it in their head that they are allowed, that they are, to use Trump's words, entitled to be this racist, that's the kind of generational long timeline we're talking about. And the way to overcome that is for establishment Democrats and the leaders of this country to take judicial reform seriously. That is the only way. What changed between 1896 and 1954? You had a different Supreme Court. And as long as you allow this conservative supermajority, this racist, this now provably racist conservative supermajority on the Supreme Court, as long as you allow them to hold power, nothing happens. Nothing changes. This is what they want. This is what they have the power to do. And until you take judicial reform seriously at all levels, then you lose at all levels. Democrats, look what happened in Virginia, which you brought up, right? Judicial reform at all levels. You had a 7-judge panel, 4-3, overturning a voter referendum of the people in Virginia. That court needs to be reformed, and the way that Virginia picks its state Supreme Court is wacky, just to be sure. So until Democrats can speak with one unified voice that we are going to reform this judicial system, Democrats will continue to lose at every level.
What's the argument?
And black people will continue to lose at every level.
I'm going to be talking to Hakeem Jeffries in a minute, and we can talk about what Congress needs to do. But what's the message to Americans who don't feel affected by this? I'm not in Tennessee. I'm not in Mississippi. I'm not in Alabama. I'm not in Louisiana. What's the way you motivate people to say, this is actually your democracy coming apart? This is not, it's targeting black people, but it's once against. Once you put one of us in chains, we're all in chains.
Right. I mean, look, you can go to white South Africans who were living in Cape Town in, 1975, and they were like, I'm not on Robben Island. What does this have to do with me? Right?
Yeah.
Like that's your mentality there. If you are okay living in an apartheid country, then it doesn't have anything to do with you. I happen to believe that when one of us isn't free, all of us aren't free. And I happen to believe that the way that you stop Republican racism, the way that you stop these white supremacist decisions is to reject them, is to put country over party, to put morality over party, and to reject the Republican agenda. But we see time and time again, white Americans won't do that. The Democratic candidate for president has not carried the white vote since the passage of the 1964 Civil Rights Act. That's not a phase. White people aren't going through a phase right now. They have decided since 1964 that the promise of a multi-ethnic, multiracial democracy based on fairness and justice is not a project they want to be in. And so the only way that we've had progress is by a coalition of black people, Latino people, Asian people, and the few whites of good conscience that they are to build a rising majority. That's the only way it's happened. And as we're seeing now with these new rules, unless white people get over themselves, unless they reverse themselves and their ancestors and their voting habits since the passage of the 1964 Civil Rights Act, they will get exactly the racist country that they have long desired. So at some level, it's not even... Chris Rock has a great joke, right? Like, racism isn't a black problem, it's a white person's problem.
Right.
Like, y'all are the ones with the sickness, not me. Like, until white people heal thyself, this is going to continue happening again.